Disney Plus cancels shows, stock hits 9-year low. Here's a clip.
Disney Plus drops 2 new shows despite finishing filming for both of them in an attempt to save cash, leaving fans devastated.
They're done with the shows, and they still canceled them.
2 shows, which were set to debut on the streaming giant in a bid to save cash, even after filming was completed. Fans have expressed their disappointment that live-action shows The Spiderwick Chronicles and Nautilus will no longer be a part of the company's content in a move to cut costs.
They're going to be bad anyways.
A 6-part reboot of the popular children's film of the same name, already an adaptation of a book series, and the latter was set to be a prequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is there even anything on Disney Plus? I mean, I know I have a lot of parents that watch me, and there's still a lot of good Disney content that exists, especially the older stuff. Where else are you going to watch, put on the 4th straight Toy Stories and not have to worry about it? Things of that nature. Finding Nemo. Things like that. Films that still have a pretty good message and are relatively,
I mean, everything Disney's exclusive on Disney Plus. So, I mean, there is some good stuff on there throughout the years.
So
not nowadays,
parents have it, but like
for
stuff, me, I have it for the channel, right? So when She-Hulk comes out or whatever the case may be, I can watch it and horror. So at least I can not be a hypocrite and not even watch the show. But
yeah, I
do
watch
think
it.
It's interesting.
Forget that.
I can't even name anything I would watch on Disney Plus. I legitimately.
I don't really understand what he's saying. Like, I don't understand what he's saying. You're a hypocrite just because you don't watch She-Hulk and talk trash about it, I guess, is what he's saying. But I'm not going to be watching that stuff, news channel or not. I'll just talk trash. I've seen clips and it looks awful. So how about, no, I'm not wasting my time doing that.
The 2008 Spiderwick Chronicles movie was based on Don't Really Care. Also Don't Care. This really sucks. I was really looking forward. Dang, I love those books. You're probably better off.
Definitely.
If you actually really like the original.
If they canceled it and aren't putting it out even after it's done filming, they know it's woke and is not going to gain traction. If they thought it was good and thought it was going to gain traction for Disney Plus and get subscribers, get them on there and actually get good reviews, they wouldn't have canceled it after filming. All they have to do is edit and put it up. They know no one's going to watch it, so they don't even want to pay for the editing, which is kind of insane. Well, I guess, to be fair, both movies or shows or whatever they are, they probably are using a lot of CGI. Spiderwick Chronicles and like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea prequel, but even still, it's like if they thought they were good and the filming was done and was going to bring subscribers to Disney Plus, why would they have canceled it? They know no one's going to watch it. They're going to get terrible reviews like She-Hulk. And then it's just like, okay, why even release it? No one's going to like it anyway. So let's just save the money. And yeah, no one's going to like it anyway. So let's just shelve it, kill it, and save the money.
You're legitimately better off by not engaging.
I would think so.
Exclusively be sure that you're just better off not having Disney ruin your childhood.
Yeah, look what they did to Star Wars. Why would this be any different?
Again, Disney Plus is not taking off. It is not growing at the rate it needs to, as people really just are tightening their belts a little bit. And on top of that, look, I've said this before, I'm not quite the Civil War guy that some people are, but there is some truth to that, in that America should be tightening their financial belts a little bit. I'm not saying people should be...
Like, the economy's going to trash, and honestly, all these streaming platforms, why pay for them? What I do is if I want to watch something on a service, I go pay the monthly price once, cancel it instantly. You get it till the end of the payment period. So then I cancel it, or I pay for it, cancel it, and then at the end of the pay period, if I want to renew, it's so easy. They're like, hey, your thing's over. Click here to renew. You click renew, confirm, bam, it's back, and you can go, why pay month to month? I did this for a long time. I'm an idiot. It's like I did this for a long time. I would pay month to month for services, and then I realized like 6 months later, I haven't used it in 6 months. I'm like, that's $60 gone for what? Like, So now what do? I go, if I want to watch like Lord of the Rings on HBO, I'm rewatching the Lord of the Rings extended edition. If you haven't seen the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, by the way, definitely check it out. But yeah, I signed up for that, instantly canceled it. So and if I want to, I think I'm going to rewatch Game of Thrones. I want to watch House of Dragon. I still haven't got around to watching the first season. There's some stuff on there that I do want to watch. The new show with The Weeknd in it. But yeah, what if I don't end up watching it? And what if I delay watching that because I get busy for 3 months and now I just paid $30 when I could have paid 1 month? So good tip here, expert tip from David Carson. Just go sign up for it, cancel it, and then just click the real quick. If you want to renew your subscription, click that, click confirm. Easy. You just do that once a month. It takes 30 seconds, and you probably are going to save yourself a lot of money.
Panicking or doing anything like that. But I am saying that I think it's safe to say that tougher times are coming, and
they're here.
The smarter decisions you can make now by just living within your means will make it much easier later when others.
Well, even if it wasn't time to tighten your belt, if the economy wasn't bad, why? Like I was just saying, even when the economy wasn't bad, I'm an idiot. Why was I just paying for the stuff I wasn't using? If you're not going to use it anyways, why? It's not like it's cable. Like cable, they make you pay like all this stuff for ESPN and these sports stars and stuff for cable. They get a portion of it. You don't have to do that. And a lot of people are saying now with streaming services, they're paying more from their subscription. But if you really break it down, there's like portions of the cable subscription you can just cut off. And you could cut it all off if you want to. If you're not using it, just cut it all off. If you're not using it for the month, you go out camping or you go hiking with your family, you go on a trip, something like that, just cut it off. You just saved yourself a bunch of money if you're just cutting them all off. What if like 2 of those services would have renewed when you're on vacation for 2 weeks, and if you're not using them on that vacation, right? You just saved yourself 2 weeks of using it when you wouldn't have used it anyways. You know what I mean?
So when you look at, I have 5 streaming services, right? And you're like, I have really only used Netflix, and even that I don't use that much. It's easy to cut 4 or 5 of them. And by the way, you can always sign up month to month for them.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's how
so
the
show comes out, you can watch it, binge it, and
cancel.
Move on. That's what people really
And again, it's a pro tip here. Again, sign up and then cancel just in case. Like I was just saying. And sign up, cancel, and then you can just renew it easily. Instead of just binge watching the show and be like, okay, I'll cancel when the show is done. You still get it for the entire month if you cancel it instantly. You still get the whole month until the next payment period. So why not?
Services. Bob Iger now told to sell Disney park assets due to major stock price dips.
Yeah, whoever's telling him this is an
Walt
idiot.
Disney Company has been falling short on Wall Street for the last several weeks.
Their parks are the only asset that's actually making them money. Like whoever said this, like, what are you talking about? The parks are the only thing making them money. It's on a slump right now because people just aren't fans of Disney, I'm guessing, and the economy's bad and it's way overpriced. So, yeah, that's a thing. But even still, the parks still make money. That's their biggest money maker is their parks and like their cruise line. Disney Plus is losing them money, and that's gaining them money. Why would you sell that? Whoever told them this, it's really interesting. But let's dive more into it. What are they saying?
Third low of $83. A lot of
we also
these
get into their stock price
can be attributed to the recent struggle Disney has faced over the past few months and years. There's no doubt that the Walt Disney Company has faced some of the biggest challenges and obstacles it's ever faced in just the last 5 years. Of course,
yeah, just
the
because they
lockdowns were unprecedented.
Oh, that too, I
lives
guess.
Of every person on the planet. 2020 was a brutal year, not just for Disney, but for everyone. However, the Disney parks and resorts...
Yeah, and you would think with Disney Plus being out during the pandemic, they would have made record high numbers. Nope. The parks being closed, like I was just saying, it just proves it. It proves it 100%. The parks are their biggest driver of money, because 2020 was rough because their parks were closed. But you'd think, again, Disney Plus would have been a huge driver. No, it really wasn't. Well, plus the price was like half as what it is now. Now they're raising the prices to try to recoup it because I think that was probably their strategy the whole time. It obviously was. They started out at like $6 a month. It was ridiculous for all the Disney. Now it's up like past $10. I think that was their strategy the whole time. But you would think with them losing so many subscribers, you think they would kind of reverse on that. But I think that this mission over like the next 5 to 7 years, this is the rate that we're going to raise prices, and they just haven't backed out on it when they definitely probably should have, because you keep raising your price, you're just going to hemorrhage subscribers even faster. Wouldn't it be better just to wait a few years and keep those people you have potentially? Well, they probably just don't think they're going to. I think that what they're thinking actually is like, okay, the people that are going to keep it really like Disney Plus and they'll actually pay their higher price, and the people that are just going to leave anyways. The people that are going to leave, it doesn't matter on the price, but I don't know. It does help people with their decision to leave if the price is higher.
along with their entertainment division, changed a lot during this time. And unfortunately, a lot of passionate fans would say that Disney changed for the worse. Well, yeah, they tried to make up all the money much quicker. And people didn't have the appetite to spend that kind of money. Once those stimulus checks stopped rolling in, once those PPP payments stopped rolling in, a lot of people had a lot less expendable cash, and they went back to work, and now they're working for their money, and they don't want to give it to Disney. And who could blame them, really? And you end up with the situation that they're in right now. And look, you could talk about the lockdowns affecting the park revenue, and you would be correct. I mean, they were literally not open. People weren't traveling. But you could also point to the fact that they conveniently launched Disney Plus right around that exact same time. I wonder, some people think, I don't want to make any guesses about whether or not they knew anything, but it was
no, I don't think they did. Like knowing stuff like years before they even launched Disney Plus was 2019. They announced like 3 years in advance, like 2015, I think it was. All the stuff on Netflix was the contracts were all ending. They had a bunch of Disney stuff on Netflix, and then they were like, okay, this is ending in 2018. They announced they weren't going to renew the contracts, and everyone knew back then they were going to launch their own service. So no, I don't think I think it was just a coincidence. It did kind of work out with the firm in that way, but I guess not. Because if you knew something, okay, Disney Plus, maybe they thought it would be bigger if they did know something. But I don't think so. 2015 to 2020, 5 years, I don't think so. I think they were just like, okay, we're going to, why not just put our stuff on our own platform, which is a really good idea. The idea of putting all of our Disney stuff, we have so much good stuff, throughout history. Why wouldn't we just go make our own service and not have to and just make more money, charge people directly? See, the problem is what they messed up on is the content that they're making now to actually keep you subscribed. Because sure, you can go watch like stuff on there occasionally, but like I was just saying, you can sign up, cancel. And then you can just go watch your favorite movie. You want to go watch Aladdin or whatever with your kids. They haven't seen it. Bam, go watch Aladdin, cancel it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You want to watch a few movies? Well, I don't know. If you have kids, you're probably going to stick around with it. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe not. My point is all the new stuff, it's not even good. So you can go watch the old stuff once, and then what's keeping you around? Now, if there's good new stuff all the time. I remember I was watching they made a Mighty Ducks series, and Gordon Bombay's in it. It's awesome. I wouldn't watch it. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. I was just poking around on there, and I was like, okay, cool, new Mighty Ducks series. And then Gordon Bombay's in it. Amelia Estevez is there. I'm like, oh man, he's actually here. This is sick. So I watched the first season. It was pretty good. And then I went and watched the second season, which ended up, it was already out. Cool. Now I go and watch it. I'm like, wait, where's Gordon Bombay? I watched the first episode. I'm like, I got like halfway through. I'm like, wait, where is he? And I go and look it up. Oh, creative differences. He hated the new season because it was too woke. So he left the show. How disappointing. And he was disappointed. And he hasn't acted, Amelia Estevez hasn't been on anything for a long time, like consistently. A long time. Over a decade, right? He used to premiere or guest star on 2.5 Men. But before that, Mighty Ducks 3 in the 90s. So they bring him back. They got him to come back to acting. Good first season, really solid. And they were talking about having Joshua Jackson, who played Charlie in the first Mighty Ducks and everything. Awesome. They were going to bring him back. It was going to be great. But then the creative differences with Amelia Estevez, he doesn't want to come back. It's probably complete trash. So, he doesn't want to come back. And now they canceled the show. No one wanted to watch it without him. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't even care, to be honest. When I started watching it, I didn't know he was even in it. But then once he was in it for that first season, I'm not going to watch this. So then they canceled it. What a shame. I loved Mighty Ducks growing up. Awesome. I love those movies. I loved hockey. I'm from Detroit area. Hockey town. Red Wings won like 4 Stanley Cups in 15 years. 2 in the 90s. I think 2 in the 2000s. So it was awesome. Like, hey, Mighty Ducks and all that stuff. And then it's just like, okay, you bring it back. Awesome. Nostalgia feeling. Great show. I'll keep paying for Disney Plus. Month after month, if you have stuff like this, and then bam, they just ruined it. Nope. All of that, what could have been, it's so disappointing. What could have been. But then they ruined it because they're woke. But anyway, let's get back to the clip.
Really convenient that when everybody in the world was going to be stuck at home, they were launching a new streaming service.
Like I said, coincidence
that
on
said,
that.
You could point to, again,
The contracts we knew were ending
Disney
years before.
Plus. I'm sorry, Disney Parks taking a hit, but you could also point to Disney Plus getting a huge, super mega boost during the lockdown.
But now
because
everyone
people were
canceled.
sitting
So
at home doing
what
nothing.
difference? It doesn't matter.
At the parks, portion sizes got smaller, prices got higher, and the overall level of quality you think you'd find at Disney felt lacking. In 2022,
It's crazy to talk about their parks real quick. Like the Star Wars hotel, they built that and they hyped it up. It's already closing. If you haven't heard, that Star Wars hotel where it was like a 2-day, it was really expensive. It's just gone. They didn't try to lower the price or anything. They're just like, no, we're closing it within like 2 years. That's wild.
Disneyland Walt Disney World introduced Disney Genie, a system that would fundamentally change the Disney park experience forever. A lot
Yeah,
of
and
those
it's like
problems
premium.
and price
You have to like
increases
pay for it.
had to do with supply chain issues, but some of the issues have not been settled in the months and years since. A trip to Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida will cost the average family several $1,000s, not including food, snacks, or merchandise. So you can just call it $5,000 probably, $4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, why go to Disney when you could just go and do a million other things with your family? $5,000. Wow, that's $500 a month. You could take your kids to go do, like any number of things. Why just do all that for one week vacation or whatever? If even they said an average, so it's just like that short vacation versus just the whole year, and you'll probably only, even if you're going with your kids all the time, trying to spend $5,000, that's crazy. You'll probably save money and you could spend more time with your kids. It's not Disney fair, but look at what Disney's becoming anyway, so who cares? Take them to a regional park or something like that. They're probably honestly more fun. The theming's not going to be as good, but at least you don't have to worry about all this woke stuff like guys in dresses and all that type of stuff that the Disney's doing now. It's so weird. So it's like, why not just go to a park or something like that? Any number of things, you could take your kids to.
Plus, who wants to fly right now? The airlines are a complete
Yeah,
mess.
that too. Plus,
Couple
making
that
your kids fly. For kids, I don't want to fly. It's probably grueling. I never flew as a kid, so I don't know, but that must be grueling.
Issues, economic issues with the political battle between Disney and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and you created the perfect storm of controversy for a company like Disney. Boy, it sure would have been nice if they just didn't get political.
Yeah.
It sure would have been convenient.
Could have
if
been
they just
easy.
Didn't
Just
want to,
easy. Easy
groom
answer.
Kids. It sure would have been nice. Many financial analysts have chimed in as to what they predict will happen with the Walt Disney Company with varying degrees of success. On CNBC Squawk Box, Rosenblatt Securities senior analyst Barton Crockett was asked what Disney should do to improve its stock price. In my mind, the right structure is to break up. The right structure is a theme park anchored equity. TV networks moved off into a structure where perhaps a private equity that traffics in challenged assets, cash flow challenged assets.
That makes no sense to me. If they separated the parks and the TV, the parks would make all the money, as we already know what happens, and the TV wouldn't make anything. And they kind of go hand in hand anyways, right? I mean, like the TV shows, the new series, you go make a new Toy Story movie, it's going to bump the attendance to the park. So I don't know. This guy's kind of weird, but let's see what else he has to say. Then I can argue it. Why not?
And a content library that's exceptionally valuable and could be of great use to a number of tech platforms.
So this guy's like, hey, go back to licensing it out to Netflix and kill Disney Plus. It sounds as what he's saying. But I don't know why you would sell off your TV division, though. Why not just put them back on Netflix and kill Disney Plus?
Co-anchor of Squawk Box asked how it could be possible for Disney to make Disney Park without Mickey Mouse and other IPs. To which Crockett suggested, I'm not saying you will lose Mickey in Disney parks at all. I'm saying that I think it's really not complicated to set up licensing deals in perpetuity as part of the separation. So they're saying, sell off all your IP. A lot of people are talking about Apple.
All the value, sell it off.
Make sure you can still use them in the parks, which I guess, I'm not sure.
Terrible idea.
I'm not sure why you would do any of that.
I don't know.
Honest,
doesn't make any sense. That guy's an idiot.
Disney stock erases.
He's probably a Disney investor. He's like, just bring my stock back up, please. Please, please, please. Just do whatever. Just, okay, try this. It's something you can't come back from, though. I mean, you could go split your, you could go, like, you could have it on, like, Disney Plus, right? You could have, I guess you could do non-exclusive. Like, okay, all of our stuff's on Disney Plus, and you can get certain bits of it on Netflix and stuff. What was HBO was doing something like that. Westworld, they were going and licensing that out. So I mean, like that's a potential. But why would you sell it? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either.
Of gains as dividend holders lose money. Disney stock hits 9-year low. Here's how it.
That's wild. 9-year low.
Disney traded at about $84 Monday, hovering at its lowest.
And with inflation, man, if you could calculate it for inflation, that must be like a 20-year low or something, right? A long time.
Since October 2014, the last time they closed below $84 since last Thursday. It's also down today as well. Since October 2014, Disney's
won't go broke.
return compares to a roughly 130% jump for the S&P 500, while Disney's 25% loss over the last 5 years and 55% gain over the past 10 years compares to the S&P's 53 and 170, respectively. Essentially, a $1,000 investment in Disney at the turn of the millennium would be worth $4,200 today, while the same commitment to the S&P would be worth $5,000, meaning they are underperforming.
Not
much, but they are.
Yeah.
Those with enough foresight to put $1,000 in Apple or Nvidia would now have $1 million and $300,000, respectively.
Wow.
Disney shareholders are down 5% to date, moving against broader market gains.
Apple fans, the turn of the millennium, man, they've grown to astronomical amount.
Sourly to the slip in subscribers for the firm's paid Disney Plus streaming service, which lost $512 million last quarter.
Wow.
Some comes after Disney posted its worst.
$512 million in one quarter. How are they even losing all that? What are they doing? Like, on servers? Is it server costs, like infrastructure? How are they losing $500 million in a quarter when they're producing the content? $500 million. That's how? They own all of the content. And all the content they're producing sucks. It's really interesting. It's like to stop making content, really, and just cut your server costs. And how are you going to lose money? Marketing, maybe? What are they losing money on, I wonder?
48 years in 2022, shedding
that amount
as investors largely.
500 million. That's $2 billion in a year. Why? What? Wow, that's a lot of money.
Up with the mounting streaming losses as the economic outlook took a turn for the worse. Shares briefly rallied late last year after Disney announced the return of Bob Iger, but the stock is still down 9%, 8% since the Iger news.
I don't even know why the stock rallied when Bob Iger came back. He left for like 2 years, or if even, and then Bob Chapek, they had just renewed his contract, and like a month later, he's like at a concert, and then they fired him, brought back Bob Iger. Chapek, I don't really like Bob Chapek. He was part of the parks. He was in charge of the parks for a long time, and he didn't do the best for that. You know what I mean? So he just used IP. He didn't do anything original for the Disney parks. And then he got in charge, but in his defense, he only had 2 years. And then they're like, no, this isn't going well. The stock is falling. Iger started all this stuff. And then he just dipped out during the pandemic. He's like, oh, no, pandemic. I'm going to take this time to leave. He probably saw the writing on the wall. It's interesting he actually came back. But again, like Chapek didn't even have any time to do anything. A year or two, I think it was 2 years. It could have been one. But yeah, 1 to 2 years, and then then they just fire him. And like Iger needs to come back. When he started all of this, Chapek didn't even have a chance to really push anything because it was like during the pandemic. And apparently, according to Bob Chapek, the new guy, he said that it was like a civil war in Disney. You had the Chapek guys, and half of the people were Iger guys. So he was all just fighting that year or two that he was there anyways. And again, Iger started all this stuff that started making it all go downhill before the pandemic. Look at the Star Wars movies, the new trilogy. That happened before the pandemic and before Chapek even got in there. And that was the start of the downfall.
Disney stock now, it's up 10 cents, but it's heading back down.
10 whole cents.
I mean, if you look at, this is big yikes. This is far more complex.
Wow, look at it go down.
A consumer boycott, to be honest. To be fair.
Yeah.
But this is all downstream of people saying no to Disney, stopping to go see the movies. Disney has broke even or lost money on their last, 10 or 12 films in a row or cumulatively. So this is very, very bad news for Disney. I'm not sure that they can do a lot to get people back because
I don't
unless
agree
they
with that.
change leadership and they change direction completely and go back to that wholesome,
That is true.
family-friendly company.
But I mean, that's a whole. He said there's not a whole lot they can do. Really, if they just go back to the family friendly like they used to do, did not be all woke, they could bring it back really quick. If they made a new Star Wars trilogy, probably people are going to be soured on it. You know, at first they're like, oh no, they're going to ruin it. But if it comes out and it's really good and great reviews, people will forgive them. And that goes with anything. But all the woke stuff they keep bringing out, and now you just expect they ruined it for themselves because now they went woke for so long. You just expected to be woke. A new Star Wars, they're bringing out some new Star Wars series that features some woman Jedi. I instantly just think it's going to be woke, right? It's just going to, I don't really care if a woman is the hero, the main character. That's how the new Star Wars trilogy was. With number 7, I didn't mind that at all. I didn't even watch the 2 after that. What, 8 and 9, I guess they would be, because I heard really bad things. All the guys are idiots. The women are so smart. They just know way more. I was like, this just sounds dumb. So I just skipped that whole thing. But the first one of the trilogy and the 7, I wouldn't watch that twice in theaters. I thought it was great. I'm not even like the biggest Star Wars fan. Like I love the idea of Star Wars, but the first 3 too old. You know, I was born in '88, so I always thought they were too old. And you know all the problems with the prequels that people have, but I thought they were okay. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm an adult. They're gonna do it really well because it's Disney, and that was because what they did with the Marvel films. I loved Iron Man. I liked Avengers and everything at the time. And then first one was pretty good. And that a lot of people said, well, I didn't like the first one of the trilogy because it was basically, you know, A New Hope, but kind of just remade. I didn't mind that. I thought that was actually kind of cool. I was like, okay, cool. You go back to your roots and now you can change. But then they changed apparently for the worse because, again, I didn't watch them. And look at that word of mouth. I was so excited for the first one of that trilogy, and then I heard about the second one and how bad it was. I went and saw the first one of the trilogy twice, and then they bring it back for a second one. I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch the next one. I haven't watched any of them. And that goes to show you how big word of mouth is. So I don't know. I don't think it's like Bud Light or anything. There's just so many beers. So why bother? But they have so many cool IPs and they have a lot of money, so they can do a lot of cool effects and everything. So I would go if Disney turned around, I'd go back to that. And the parks are pretty cool. You know, they're nostalgic. But if they're going to keep having all this woke stuff, raise all the prices, and try to gouge everyone for money, it's just like, no one's going to go back. But they could turn it around, I think.
That so many fell in love with originally, rather than some weird political pushing ideology company that everyone hates.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, no one wants that. And then all that political grooming stuff that they're battling with DeSantis and all this stuff about talking about kids about like, you know, about this. Yeah, all this stuff. Don't say gay bill when that's just all a bunch of nonsense. And this is what they're fighting for. So people hear about that. And a lot of people probably wouldn't care, but at least make good stuff. So their stuff is bad, and they're fighting these political battles, and their new stuff is just so IP. There's nothing original, nothing fun about it. And they have guys in dresses and stuff like that in their parks. So it's just like they're doing it to themselves. This is fascinating. It's like the same thing with Bud Light, this and Target and all this. It's so fascinating to me how business is done now. Like, you used to, like, you know, the customer's always right. Let's build these brands and everything. And then people are taking over these, like, really old brands that have been here for so long that built a name for themselves on good quality, and now they're just ruining it. It's really interesting. These activists get in here, and they actually, it seems like they think that if we have all this power, we have millions of 100 million customers or whatever, and so we have all this power. That's just what they think. They don't know business at all. All these socialist activist idiots, they don't know business at all. They're like, we're too big to fail. No business is too big to fail. The only reason why, like, banks and stuff, they get saved, and Chevy, because the government bails them out, which it shows you they're not too big to fail. If it wasn't for the government, like, or maybe it's Chrysler just would not even be around anymore, and they shouldn't be. You know, maybe Chrysler makes good stuff or whatever nowadays, but in the financial crisis of 2008, they should have went away. Give us more competition, give us smaller people better quality. So, but these activists think, okay, Disney's too big to fail. If we go in there and we can make our own stuff, everyone's going to watch Disney because it's Disney, these hundreds of millions of customers, where, yeah, we can just convince all these people to follow our ideology. Doesn't work at all. all it does is ruin the business. People are not going to just go along with your politics because you show them your politics. People know left, right. People are smart. Adults and everybody. People know this stuff. They know the politics they have. They know their beliefs. And people don't really care about if you push a little bit of politics into stuff, for the most part. But when you just start forcing it down their throat, like, for example, like a woman main character, and they always say, like, oh, people are racist or sexist because they don't like the new main woman character. That's so wrong. What was it? Not Zelda. Well, Zelda. Warrior Princess. Xena? I can't remember. The Warrior Princess. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. People loved this stuff back before all this woke stuff. And they didn't care if it was a woman or whatever. You know? They were like, awesome, cool, woman, badass woman. Angelina Jolie was a big action star before any of this woke stuff happened. It's awesome. But when you're like, okay, the woman's the main character, anytime they have a guy ally, the guy is a moron. The woman has to school him completely, so then you don't even like the guy characters. What do you want? All the main characters? Like, all the best stuff. Like, you had Buffy, and you had her side characters, then you had Angel in the show. I never really watched the show, honestly, but, you know, I've seen glimpses, and I know of it. But then what if Angel was just a little bitch, and he didn't know anything, and Buffy always has to save him every time? No, but Angel was also a badass and got a spinoff. You know, that's how it should be. You don't want to just have the guys and the women should be on equal ground. Maybe if the guy makes a mistake, then the woman makes a mistake too. You have humility. But like that She-Hulk, I didn't watch it, but I've seen clips of it. And then like Bruce Banner, he did all this training. The woman She-Hulk, she just goes and destroys him, and he's better than him instantly. Even though he's been Hulk for years and trained all that. No, it doesn't matter. The woman's always better, just instantly better. That's how that it was a critique for the first Star Wars, the new trilogy, the seventh one, is, the girl Luke had to go learn all these powers. It was so hard for him. And then the woman, she just comes in and just destroys. I didn't care that much. That's what I'm saying. People will accept that. I accepted that. That was fine. You know, whatever. Okay, whatever. But then when the women at school, the guys always make the bad decisions. The women know everything. The guys go against them and all that stuff, from what I understand. Again, I haven't seen it. But they go against them. And then, the women are always right. Yeah, it's just boring. And that's just forcing politics. And that's what people just really, really don't like. And this is what's killing Disney. So it's killing all of these companies. Yeah, who would like this? So, just, if they could get out of politics, bring it back to the wholesome family movies, bring it back to just normal storytelling, drama, you learn something. It's like the story circle, you start off at a point, there's, you have a want, you have a challenge. It's really challenging to get the want, and then the want, you get it, but then you pay for it with a consequence. And because of that, you learn something and become a new person. You learn from it, and you develop as a person. And that it's simple, but no. We got to throw all this. Most of the movies now, what was it? The Barbie movie. I watched a review on that. It's terrible writing. The Barbie, she goes into the new world, and then the guys take over because the women are just, they're supreme, and the guys are a bunch of morons, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Then the guys take over. It was Barbie goes into the real world, apparently. Then she comes back. The guys are taking over. She just schools them. She gets back in charge. And now it's just like the beginning. The Barbie didn't learn anything. They just go back to normal. It's not like, okay, let's develop the story, right? Okay, Barbie comes back. They want, now the guys and the girls are equal. That'd be a good story, right? Okay, we saw the wrong of our ways. But no, at the end, it's just exactly like the beginning. Barbie's back in charge. The guys are back to idiots. Again, I didn't watch this, to be clear. I watched Drunken Drinker. What's that guy's? I don't remember. Critical Drinker. That's it. Shout out to him. But yeah, exactly. So I watched his review, and it's just dumb. It's like, why the story doesn't even develop, and that's what they do now. It's boring. Why even watch any of their stuff? You want to go be like, okay, they developed, and it teaches you something. It's awesome. Like I said, I'm rewatching Lord of the Rings, and that's awesome. They don't make movies like that. The development of the characters, the story, just the effects, everything is amazing in that movie. No one makes movies like that anymore. I don't even watch movies anymore, like new movies, because that's how it is. I watch like new shows and stuff. Like I loved Game of Thrones and everything. I'm one of the people who actually liked the ending. Personally, I actually predicted it. I was like, would it be awesome if Bran became king? You know, he's the one-eyed raven. That'd be awesome. And then it actually ended up happening. So maybe I'm a little biased. But you have stuff like that. TV, they actually make some good stuff occasionally. But movies, they've went to trash. So why even watch it? And then the Disney shows, they're also trash. So, yep, they're just falling apart. But again, they could get back to it. Just make good stuff. Quit being woke. Quit battling for politics. And just make money. Fire all the activists that think this is all important. No, money is important. The stock price is important. You know, maybe they should give them more stock options. But the thing is these activists doing this, they just want to just change the world and stuff. And again, they think that them going and pushing this on people and having this power isn't going to ruin their business. It's just going to convince people to be woke like them. No, doesn't not work like that at all. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.